Hello, welcome to this video mini lesson introduction to how to have effective discussion boards. Be concise. Your discussion board posts should be approximately 1 to 2 paragraphs in length. Any shorter than that and you risk being superficial. Any longer than that and you risk drifting or being redundant or not engaging your reader. Be deep. We're looking for meaningful posts that are going to stimulate deeper thinking. So going beyond sort of regurgitating what the readings have been about and doing more synthesis, analysis, evaluation, those higher level Bloom skills. Also, you're looking to make connections such as text to text, text to self, and text to world connections. And these connections again should go beyond being simplistic, but rather should be insightful. So some of the ways that you can be deep, like I said, are through connections, by being provocative, and I don't mean in any sort of shady way, but by saying things that are bold or powerfully declarative, really putting your stake in the ground, and in doing so, inviting others to respond to that. Engaging group members directly by asking questions, by responding thoughtfully to posts that they have made or claims or statements or ideas they have shared. Synthesize the readings, so pull together the various readings together, as well as synthesize those with discussions from small group and whole group sessions, and with other elements as well, such as outside learning, prior learning, external texts, those sorts of things. You definitely want to draw upon and cite the readings for the course, and you should do that using APA formatting. You can also feel free to cite content, materials, texts that are external to the class as well, but I would de-emphasize that and emphasize citing texts, citing readings from the course. And then go beyond stating that you agree or disagree with something, either in the text or that a teammate has stated. Go beyond that. Explain why. Really make your case. Make cogent and compelling reasons for why you agree or disagree. And then feel free to draw upon and share your prior knowledge as well. And cultivate dialogue. This isn't really about you looking super smart to everyone else. Instead, it's about engaging teammates in dialogue that's going to lead to deeper understanding and deeper insights on everyone's part. You want to post regularly in order to have that sort of fluid, momentum building dialogue. So think back to chapter 10 of Keeping the Promise. There was regular ongoing dialogue amongst the authors of that chapter. So what do we mean by post regularly? Okay, well, let's talk about discussion boards first. If you are the facilitator of a forum, that means you're the person posting the initial prompt and then doing what you need to in order to keep the conversation going throughout the week. If you are in that role, you're going to be posting at least 3 times, and that includes the initial prompt. If you are a discussant of a discussion board forum, then that means that you need to post at least twice a week, I would say. Now, let's think about blogs. So, as a blogger, you want to post your blog and then respond to the person who responds to your post. As a blog responder, you want to reply at least once to the blog that you are reviewing. If you have any questions about that, let me know. We can be in dialogue about that. Also, you want to avoid straying. You want to stick to the topic at hand, and that topic may shift or move over time, and that's okay. But keep in mind that we want to the degree possible, really stick to the objectives of our course. Avoid waiting until the end of the week to post. And here's some guidelines that I would recommend so that you can keep the momentum, keep the dialogue moving throughout the week. And that would be, if we're thinking in terms of discussion boards, the facilitator should post the prompt by Tuesday, by end of day Tuesday. First responses to that prompt by the discussants should be posted by Thursday. Second responses by discussants should be posted by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. And so somewhere between that first and second responses by discussant, the facilitator should be back in the conversation and should be responding to discussants, asking follow-up questions, making insightful points about what the discussants have said, et cetera, perhaps eliciting more from a particular discussant, whatever it takes. As far as blog posts are concerned, the blogger should post her or his blog no later than Wednesday, and a response should come to that no later than Friday. And then that gives the blogger one more chance by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. to respond to the person who has replied to the blog. Always use appropriate writing style. We're in this world of Twitter and texting where we take all sorts of shortcuts and drop punctuation and do crazy spelling like THX for thanks, which I do myself. I'm guilty of that. However, in the context of our course, even within learner responses, we want to make sure that we are writing in a practitioner scholar style, which includes using good word choice, sentence structure, including syntax, using appropriate grammar, usage, punctuation, capitalization, etc., etc. And also, this means using proper APA formatting for both in-text citations and references. So, what can you do to be sure that you facilitate fabulously? Well, be sure to post an engaging prompt. Elicit responses. So this can mean a couple of things. It can mean specifically responding to or drawing out or asking follow-up questions of a discussant. It can also mean if a discussant hasn't posted by the appropriate timeline, that might mean emailing that person or following up with that person directly outside of the context of the discussion board in order to kind of get that person back engaged. Consider including multimedia. This isn't a requirement, but if there's a YouTube video or some sort of article or graphic that really speaks to your prompt or a discussant's response, then absolutely pull that in. Engage your teammates in some sort of activity or task. Again, this isn't required, but it is a possibility. So it could be, you throwing up a little mini scenario or mini case that you ask folks to respond to that's based on the reading or whatever. Refocus the conversation as needed. So if you start to see things drifting, the conversation drifting, then refocus it, reorient it. Here is the rubric that I will use to be evaluating learner responses. It's worth 250 points total. That's throughout the duration of the course. You see the various criteria that I use to evaluate learner responses. Those include contributions to the learning community, substantialness of a response, support provided, and professionalism. And you can see that not all of these components are of equal weight. The first three are all worth 75 points, and professionalism, which has to do with writing quality and respectful dialogue, is worth 25 points. Then you see descriptions for what above target, on target, and below target work looks like. And what I've done, even within these descriptions of above target, I've highlighted in bold those pieces that are most important. And when I evaluate your work, I will provide a score as well as comments. Now, keep in mind that the learner responses are being graded under a mastery learning approach. That means that I'm not sort of like averaging all of the learner response scores throughout the entire course and taking the average. Instead, I'm looking at growth in the quality of learner responses over time. So in other words, kind of the quality or the point value that would be assigned to your earlier learner responses isn't going to be as heavily weighted, so to speak, figuratively speaking, as the latter ones, the ones closer to the end of the course. Now, I'm not using some sort of magical mathematical algorithm to compute this. This is more looking for trends and patterns in your learner responses over time. I will not use this rubric to give you a score on every learner response. I will do this periodically, and or your peers will do this periodically. The point is to give formative feedback throughout the course so that your learner responses are becoming ever better and ever more meaningful. That's what we're really looking for here. If you have any questions about this, please let me know. Thank you. And that concludes this video mini lesson.